What's up, and welcome back to Seaside Garage. I am trying my best to get this car back together and fixed up, and I'm in a bit of a hurry because I really wanted to be MOT'd as fast as possible, because I don't want to drive the A112 in a couple of weeks because salt is coming to the roads and it will just rust away. So I'm trying to speed up things a little bit, and therefore I might not film as much as I usually would do. But I have started to actually put stuff back together on the other side, and I'm gonna start on this side today. I need to take off this and then clean the backside up and make sure there are no rust. And then decisions has been made about these. And yeah, I bought new front wings for it. It wasn't the cheapest thing in the world, but really cheap comparing it to other cars, so it's all right. So I'm gonna change those, and then I'm gonna paint them. And even though it sounds a little bit silly, I'm gonna paint them with stone chip paint so it matches up the rest of the car a bit more. But this is really nice. I also bought some repair wheel arches for the rear that I hope that I can use. But today, I hope to reassemble the front end, but let's see how far I get. These bolts, there, and there, joins the subframe together with the engine and to the actually body of the car. Now I have removed two of them. Now I'm going to take this part of it off. Then I'm going to reinsert these and tighten that up without this, because if I remove the lower bolts, I will actually, as far as I can see, disconnect the subframe completely from the frame, and that would risk the entire subframe to drop. So I'm going to put those bolts back in and tighten them up while I remove the lower part of this. That should work fine, I think. So this was really about time. The good thing is that it looks all right in here at first glance. I'm going to protect this with some body or some oily, some thin cavity protection and some thick body coating before fitting the next one, because it's an important piece of the car. So all the nuts and balls are now out. This one should be loose. The engine has not fallen down, neither have the subframe, so something is holding up at least. Like that. This one could have been reused, to be honest. I thought it was a lot worse than it is. It's really not that bad. The worst part is that the rubber thingy inside of here is rusted out, but it's not a huge deal. The other part of it is completely gone. It's worth nothing, but I could have just changed that. But now we'll know that it's solid. Before installing the new part, I need to install the rubber. Yeah, I should have bought new ones of these. On the other hand, it's working fine as it is, but getting this one into here is not just something you do real quick. It's kind of hard. I'm gonna grease up the inside. That will help as rust protection and also make it easier to slide in. Then I'm going to take some wire and make a loop like this, like that. Then put that around the rubber. And then pull it down like this. And then just lift, or just adjust it. It is slightly hard. Like that. It's in. Whew, it was tough. Before installing it, I'm just going to smear some rust protection on the backside. This is some of that stuff that never really dries up. And also in here, which I think could be a rust trap. And then let's just loosely fit it up. I'm not going to tighten up anything before we got everything in place, because I think it's good that it's possible for it to move about a little bit at least. I just like to add that the old nuts down here were actually welded on, you know, tightened up and then welded so they couldn't come loose. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use some locking washers. I think that's good enough, but I will have to keep an eye out and make sure that it doesn't loosen up over time, but I don't think it will. Then it should be possible to loosen up the two up here, because now this holds everything together. And then before clamping the parts together, I'm just gonna protect them as well. And then I'm really going to give it some protection up here, because that is a rust trap. And the old part was completely rusty right here. So I think it's a good idea to protect it well. This is the thin stuff. The thick stuff will come on later. Another job done. So next up, I need to disassemble this lower swing arm wishbone. I'm going to change this, not because it's really that rusty, but it's altered to lift the car. Some blocks down here has been welded on. It's not supposed to be like that. So I'm going to take this off and swap it for a original one. Oh, very, very dirty. Dirty. Now this should be loose. And the problem with this part is these that are welded on, they could have been cut off maybe, but here we have the same piece, just without those blocks. So that is actually just gonna go on that swing arm. But before we do that, I'm gonna change these rubber mounts, because they actually look rather fine right now. But on the car, under pressure, I could see they were cracked. So it's a lot easier to do now rather than get an MOT fail and having to do it later. So I'm gonna change those. So the new bushings are pushed in to the lower swing arm, and I took the liberty to do the same to the upper one. Those were really bad. The lower one was actually not that bad. As you can see, the upper one was really cracked. I'm not going to tighten them up before I got it on the car. Right now it's still able to turn in here, because normally it's a good idea to tighten up stuff like this with the car on the ground, because if you tighten it up in a wrong position, then when you lower the car down, it will actually try to twist the rubber at the resting position, which is not good. You would want the rubber to be resting at its normal resting position when the car is on the ground. I'm not sure it's the same with the Niva, but I think it is, but I'm just going to check it beforehand. Let's fit this one. And let's also install a new ball joint. And off camera, I changed the boot for the drive shaft because it was torn. I did the same on the other side. So now it should be ready to install the lower swing arm, at least loosely. So there is a lot of spacer rings that I have just decided to put in the same position as I took them off. It could be wrong, because remember, the geometry of this is now changed because it is no longer raised. But I don't really know, so I'm just going to do it like this. Like that. Oh, everything is so greasy now because I have been messing with the drive shaft. That is annoying. There we go. And let's also install the upper one. I gotta say, I like working on this car because it's really pretty. Yeah, unless I'm doing stuff wrong, it is pretty easy to figure out the systems, which is really nice. The only thing that had me for a moment was I was just about to take all the bolts off for this suspension part, because I didn't think it was that important, but because there were this many nuts and bolts, I thought maybe it's supporting something else, and it was supporting quite a lot, so it's a good thing I didn't just zip them all out. Sometimes it's a good idea to take it easy. Like this. Well, it is really late now, and this is going to be all the progress for tonight, but I have done more than I have shown you. The rest of this side is just pretty much the reversal of taking it off. I just need to fit everything. And then I'm not going to do the brakes just yet, and I'm not going to attach the anti-roll bar, because the anti-roll bar, I need to change the entire exhaust system all the way up to the manifold. And it looks a bit like I have to remove the anti-roll bar to actually fit the front pipe. Maybe even some more stuff, I really hope not. But because of that, I'm not going to attach it just yet. The next video will most likely be either the brakes or some of the rust. I haven't really decided yet, but this will be all for now. I will attach the rest of this off camera, but let me show you something. Because this side of the car is pretty much done. I still need to fit the caliper and the braking system in general, but the suspension is reattached and everything is fine. And take a look at this. Yeah, I know I like to rebuild stuff, but looking at this is also really satisfying, because especially since the rest of the car looks like this, it's pretty nice to look into the wheel arch and see this. I'm actually looking forward to going to the MOT station with all these new parts. Hopefully it will be worth it, but we'll see about that. I know that this video series on the Lada is not that detailed like I usually do, but I am in a bit of a hurry with this one because it's fun. But I would really like to get it MOT as fast as possible, otherwise I will have to figure out what else I have to drive in the winter. But the next video, as I told you, will most likely be either the brakes or some of the rust. The next time you see this Lada, I'm pretty sure that the suspension is finished on both sides. Maybe not the rear, but on both sides up front. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.